Okay, for more on this, we are being joined by Edward P. Joseph. He's a senior fellow at the Johns Hopkins University School of Advanced International Studies and foreign policy analyst. He's joining us live from Washington, D.C. Edward, great to see you. Um, Critics maintain that it's the U.S. business of war that contributes to its economy in decades, and it's the same after the beginning of the Ukraine war as well. That's one criticism. The other criticism, of course, it's from the Republicans that say we want more security for the U.S. border and we want Americans to benefit from these funds. So, where does the Biden administration stand?
Susan, first, good to be with you and your viewers, of course. And the point here of the Biden administration is that the immense amount of funding that has been allocated for the defense of Ukraine against Russia's unprovoked invasion is defrayed. That is, that some of it is balanced off by the fact that the U.S. Defense companies benefit economically by virtue of foreign investment and by virtue of the spending of the U.S. government spending, both. So that's the point of the Biden administration. It's not that, the war in Ukraine is somehow good and is this boost for the American economy. If that were the case, the Republicans, who are the pro-business party generally, and that's their image in the United States, would be boosting this. Instead, they're focusing on the cost, and the Biden administration is arguing, look, there are concrete economic benefits from the war, and that's true. Again, it's not a driver for policy. It's not a driver, the U.S. Economy benefits, so let's prolong the war. It's not the case. Anyone who is concerned about the impact on the U.S. economy from this war has to put the blame where it goes, which is on Vladimir Putin, who launched the war, sustains the war, and of course, domestically completely suppresses all dissent, and as we've seen, is, according to President Biden, responsible for the death of Alexei Navalny, who is held in custody in a Russian prison. Please.
Yeah, what a tragic end to that story. And for our international viewers, can you talk about the effects that the American defense manufacturers have on the country's internal politics, as well as perhaps foreign policy as well?
I would say that it is not some type of a huge impact on foreign policy or on domestic policy. The U.S. arms manufacturers, they're located. Some of them are located in states like Pennsylvania and Arizona, which are key battleground states, of course. But you do not typically see that there's a huge political effect from the defense spending. And in fact, if that were the case, that would be reflected in polls, that you would have polls that would show greater support for the war in Ukraine than they actually do. The reality is that Vladimir Putin transformed the economic relationship between the United States and its main allies around the world, above all Europe. So it was Vladimir Putin's decision to invade Ukraine. Again, this is a unilateral decision to invade Ukraine that put Europe much more on a war footing, that moved Europe to get away from dependency on Russian gas, which in turn benefits U.S. Domestic production of natural gas, liquefied natural gas, and which has increased European defense spending. And where do they turn? They turn to the country that produces what is reputed to be the most advanced, most sophisticated munitions and weapon systems, and that's the United States. So that's a consequence. Again, it's all a reminder of the dramatic, stupendous strategic error that Vladimir Putin made when he invaded. He had a good thing going in Europe. He had Europe dependent on Russian gas. He's completely cut that off now. He was the one who convinced neutral countries, Sweden and Finland, which were proud of their neutrality, not members of NATO. Vladimir Putin convinced them to join NATO. And all of these countries, Germany as well, they're increasing their defense spending. And obviously, they turn to the United States as the main supplier. But again, none of this is the driver for American policy there, which is guided again by defending Ukraine against this unprovoked aggression from Russia and the risk it prevents, not just to Ukrainians, but to European and global stability. Please.
Edward, thank you so much for that analysis. It's always a pleasure speaking to you, and a very happy President's Day to you on this Monday. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.